Welcome to All Things Moore County, Moore County's weekly radio show highlighting the many facets of the Sandhills. That includes real estate, lifestyle, community and neighborhoods. And now, from 4 Properties, here's your host, Bill Sahadi.
Good morning and welcome to the talk show, All Things Moore County. Dorothy, it's no small coincidence that last week we had on Vision for More and Pamela Pardis, if you'll recall.
I do.
It was the second half of the show where we also featured the Pinehurst Rotary.
Correct.
And so Pam came on and we were talking about the upcoming Billy Joel and Elton John tribute concert, which is going to be held at the Weymouth Center for the Arts and Humanities on Saturday evening. I think it's the 28th of June.
Okay.
And so, lo and behold, I said to Pam, guess who's coming on the show this coming week? The Weymouth Center for the Arts and Humanities.
How convenient.
And we're going to be joined today by Kira Schoenfelder, who is the Director of Marketing and Communications, and Danie Herbst, who is the Director of Membership and the Visitor Experience. And guys, I have to tell you, I don't know that there is an organization in Moore County that holds more events on a yearly basis than the Weymouth Center. I mean, I get the newsletters. I live near the Weymouth Center, so I'm maybe more enrolled in it. But two things always strike me. One is how many people are not fully aware of the Weymouth Center, how many people think it's a private facility, and it's not. It's public. It's open to the public. And yet how many events you have on a monthly basis. It's mind-boggling. You guys must be burning the midnight oil, especially at this time of the year.
Yeah, it's we do over 100 events a year, and
100 events a
that
year.
includes weddings, book talks, large fundraising events,
Right.
social events.
A lot of music too. We've got a lot of musical, jazz series and chamber. Those are we've got both of those as a series throughout the year.
The Weymouth Center is such a gift to Moore County, and every time we have you guys on over the years, we're always speaking to new listeners who are moving into the area, and we want to continue to educate them about the Weymouth Center. I know people who have driven by there and said, what is that beautiful property and all with the horses? And they think it's like a private club. But in truth, it's open to all residents of Moore County.
We're open to the public Monday through Friday, 10 to 4. And
our tagline is also a welcome place, and that's a change they made a couple of years ago, and I think we're really do embody that now.
Yeah, I've picked up, Katie Wyeth was on a couple of seasons ago, and she was talking about you guys were pivoting and trying to market more with open arms, more inclusion than may have been the case in the past, and from what I can see, very successful. But it's the center of a lot of events and a lot of activities. There's one, well, there's so many in June, but there's one in particular that I know you want to share with us today because it's a partnership with another organization, and it has to do with the 250-year anniversary of our country, and it's going to be held, I guess, on July the 13th, 14th?
June 14th and 15th.
June 14th and 15th. Did I say July? I'm telling you, you just have to bear with me. Friday the 13th, and then Saturday and Sunday the 14th and 15th from 10 to 4. It's called Drums of Liberty. Tell me a little bit about the story behind the event and what people can expect.
Sure. So James Boyd was the owner of the house that is now Weymouth Center, the Boyd House, and he was a well-known author in the 1920s. His first novel was published in 1925. That book is titled Drums. It is a historical fiction about a family, particularly a young man, living in North Carolina during the Revolutionary era. He wrote that novel. It was published in 1925. So we are celebrating the 100th anniversary of the publication of that novel, as well as it tied in really nicely with the 250th anniversary of the beginnings of the American Revolution and the Army's birthday, and it's also Flag Day. So that whole weekend really is a celebration of American history and how it ties and relates specifically to North Carolina and this Moore County region.
And for the event itself, it's a 2-day event. There are going to be a lot of activities that are, I won't say interactive, but very user-friendly for families and children who I remember as a kid going on field trips. And I was so fascinated as a 4th grader or a 5th grader because you got to see what we thought at the time was history coming to life. That's probably going to happen here too, isn't it?
Absolutely. So on the 14th and 15th the event will run from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And we have 2 regiments, historic reenactor regiments coming, the 2nd North Carolina and the 6th North Carolina regiments, and they will be camping out on the grounds of Weymouth Center.
Cool.
So they're doing cooking demonstrations and musket demonstrations and talking to people about life during that time period. We also will have lectures in the great room in the house from historians such as Dr. Hunter from UNC, Dr. Dempsey from Sandhills Community College, and others throughout the weekend. We also have demonstrations going on throughout the weekend. So we'll have a little demonstration field where Camp Flintlock is bringing a fife and drum corps.
Oh, wow.
And so we'll have demonstrations throughout that. We also are working with Weymouth Woods and their park rangers to host a little one hike each day to the oldest longleaf pine to kind of talk about not just the events that happened in history, but what the landscape looked like and what Moore County was like at the time.
Right.
Of the war, during the Revolutionary War.
Right. There's also a partnership that you have with the North Carolina Department of Natural and Cultural Resources. I think it's called America 250 NC. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so America 250, overall, there's a large movement and organization across the country for events commemorating the anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence, but also a movement to talk about the history of America and the progress and the American spirit. And so each state had grants, and America 250 NC, run by the Department of Natural and Cultural Resources,
right,
had grant applications out, and we were awarded a nice grant from them to put on this event specifically and develop an exhibit around the illustrations that were done for the book Drums.
What kind of manpower is needed to run an event like this? I mean, because you guys work, tirelessly to put these events on, and I don't know that you have 40 people of support and backup.
We have a lot of great volunteers.
Okay.
I have kind of been spearheading this, but with Kira's support for promoting and our programs people. And our volunteers truly give so much of their time. We've had them meeting once a month and making phone calls and helping to schedule people. And they just have done such an incredible thing to help put this event on so that it can be available to everyone. It's great because they put so much time in.
And this is also going to be a family-friendly event. We want to make sure people know that.
Absolutely. We will have crafts and activity. I think it'll be the regiments are absolutely excited to interact with.
Right.
They love to interact with young people and talk about their experience.
Did I read somewhere that there will be somebody playing James Boyd.
We do have a James Boyd.
That I would love to know about.
So I think it'll be great to have the Revolutionary War era soldiers out on the field and James Boyd talking about his vision for this novel and what inspired him for the novel, in addition to kind of like, oh, this is what I was seeing in my head, and then how I got it onto paper.
Right.
And he'll be inside. We actually got to cast him as James Boyd back in the fall, so he will be returning as James Boyd in the house and just explaining his experience writing. So we're really excited.
Was this an individual locally that you vetted that already passes muster?
So he has, already acted as James Boyd once. So we did a kind of like a spooky ghost tour. It was a moving play back in September, October last year. And he was cast as James Boyd. So he's already played that character. So it'll be great to have him back.
It brings a lot of the history of Weymouth to life because people just think of it sometimes as just a beautiful neighborhood with some very eclectic buildings. But if they knew the story full throttle, I think it would mean so much more. And hopefully this event will help drive that point home. So I also noticed that you're going to have an NC Wyeth exhibit. You're talking to someone who actually met Andrew Wyeth and his son. I used to live not far from Chadsford, Pennsylvania, and there was a little tavern in Chadsford outside of the Wyeth Museum. And I was in there for lunch one day, and who is sitting at a table like 3 tables away? Andrew and his son Jamie. So I thought to myself, I'm going to just go over and say hello because I have a lot of Wyeth prints. And N.C. Wyeth, the relationship was, he was a father.
N.C. Wyeth is Andrew Wyeth's father, yes.
That's it. And he was famous for a lot of Civil War art and pictures, if I'm not mistaken.
He was actually an illustrator.
Illustrator,
he was most well known for his illustrations. He was contracted by several publishers, one of them being Scribner's.
Okay.
And he did illustrations for Drums. He did illustrations for Treasure Island and other classics is kind of as they were advertising, republishing classics, they would have N.C. Wyeth do some illustrations and republish the book with these brand new, beautiful pictures.
June 14th and June 15th is probably right after school gets out. So there will be, the kids will be around, the parents will be starting their time management with their children and getting into the practice for the next 2 months. So this would be a great event to bring them to, and they'll think, oh, school vacation is great. We get to do things with mom and dad.
It's a good kickoff to the summer.
It really is.
Some hands-on learning.
That's right. We're going to come back in the second set. We're going to talk a little bit more about the Drums of Liberty event and big picture what the Weymouth Center means to Moore County on so many different levels. They can call it the Center for the Arts and Humanities, but truly, you guys show up every month with different events that cover that big umbrella of categories, and it's a gift to the community, and we want more people to know about it. This is All Things Moore County. We'll be right back. Welcome back to our second set of All Things Moore County. We're being joined by Director of Marketing, Kara Schoenfelder, and Director of Membership, Danie Herbst, talking all about the Weymouth Center and some upcoming events. The Weymouth Center is a Georgian manor and former home of James and Catherine Boyd, who were very notable and meaningful figures in Southern Pines. The center is committed to literature, music, art, and conversation, and Weymouth hosts concerts and readings, and it's dedicated to the preservation of its gardens and grounds. It is open to the public, and there is a big effort out to educate people and to make them aware of all the activities that the Weymouth Center holds on an annual basis. Right now, June probably sets up as one of your busiest months. And in addition to the event that you're going to have on Saturday and Sunday, June 13th and 14th and 15th, there's an event also on the 13th that you want to talk about that is a little bit different, but it's all tied in under the same umbrella.
So June 14th and 15th is a free, open to the public event. We are accepting donations if people would like to contribute to the Weymouth Center, to our mission. But on the 13th, we are hosting an exhibit opening, which is a $75 ticket, and the event is Friday night, June 13th, to be the first people to see the NC Wyeth paintings owned by the town of Southern Pines. They are loaning them to us for the time of this exhibit. If many people probably remember, they used to be on display in the town, in town building,
town services building,
the town services building.
That's right.
So they've been stored for a little while, and now they are being moved to Weymouth for this exhibit, and they will be on display for about a year and a half. In addition to other content about James Boyd and NC Wyeth and their relationship. Specifically, they wrote letters to each other. NC was hired by Scribner's, who was Boyd's publisher, to do illustrations for a reprint of Drums in 1928. So that was released in 1928, but Wyeth came down to stay with the Boyds.
Did he really?
He did, and they wrote letters, and we have a copy of Drums that has facsimiles of the letters that they wrote to each other. So, Wyeth saying, "Thank you so much for the car. Thank you for letting me borrow the driver to take me around North Carolina, and thank you for your hospitality.
Right.
Your writing is so beautiful," and it's really neat to see their interaction and how they worked together to create these beautiful this story and the imagery of the story.
As I'm listening to you, you're absolutely bringing it to life. And now I'm an adult, so if it's bringing it to life for me, imagine what it could do for some of the students who maybe in their history classes, they hear things, but when they can see something up front, it sticks with them. And they hold on to those things and remember them as they go. It makes a huge impression.
That's why I'm in the museum field. That's how I got here. I had a good experience in a history museum where it brought it to life, and I wanted to do that for other people. So it's
where were you before you came here?
Where did I work before I came here?
Yes.
Oh, I have worked at Mount Vernon, George Washington's Mount Vernon, the Country Music Hall of Fame, and most recently Historic Annapolis. So this is an exciting project for me because I love that early America Revolutionary era.
It shows. So where did you get the history gene from?
I have no idea.
Oh, come on.
I don't
Was
know.
it the way you were raised?
My parents were not. My mom was always a reader and encouraged me to read, but they weren't big history buffs or anything by that means. We didn't travel to battlefields and things like that. We didn't do any of that. I think I just loved the museums. I grew up in St. Louis, and we have a lot of good museums there, and I just found that was the place for me.
So that means you are an old soul.
I guess so.
Kira,
I did have a lot of good history teachers. Teachers make a huge difference.
Yeah, and you would have loved to grow up where I did because I grew up in Northern Virginia, but my dad is a huge history buff, so we did stop at every single historical plaque, and there's quite a few. Yeah.
And where did you come from before you came to Southern Pines and the Weymouth Center?
I've lived here since 2012, so I've been here for a little while. Yeah.
Boy.
But my background, I went to James Madison University from Virginia and moved down right after that. So I've been here a little while.
How long have you been with the Weymouth Center?
Just celebrated a year. I'm very excited. I feel like it went by so quickly. It's very cool to have kind of every event that we do annually now under my belt. So I feel like I officially checked that off after Horses Benefit Kids. So
So these events, there's a real team, a spirit of teamwork at the Weymouth Center. Everyone's sort of on the same page, and there's a mission to push the envelope forward and offer quality and consistency. And I think you guys do that. And I can tell you, I've been a guest at many events there, weddings and rehearsal dinners and such, and they are special grounds. People who see the Weymouth Center for the first time, they're amazed when they walk around the back right side of the building to the back to see the gardens that you can't see from the street. And I know so many people who have had well, you probably know every photographer in town because they've been there using it as a venue for pictures, right?
My friend got engaged there. We were just talking to someone who her, daughter's friend is getting engaged. So it's a cool place definitely to have those kinds of experiences.
It's such a community place, right? I mean, not maybe people haven't been in the house or come to our events, but so many people have stories about, oh, I know so and so who used to work there for this, or I knew this Boyd family member, or something like. Everyone seems to have a connection to Weymouth Center, and I think that's such a beautiful thing. It is a welcome place because everybody feels it feels homey, and it's beautiful.
Southern Pines is one of the coolest towns in America. It has a pedigree of history, it has a pedigree of beauty, and it has a pedigree of charm. And the people who live here, they celebrate Southern Pines like no other community I've ever seen. And honestly, the Weymouth Center is sort of at the forefront of so much of that because so many things go through into the property through the events, and you broadcast it every day. And the people who live here who didn't know Southern Pines, they start to realize, oh my gosh, this is really like sacred ground. It's a special place.
I think a lot of people, my personal experience back in 2020, I was walking my dog a lot, like a lot of us, and that's when I really spent a lot of time first at Weymouth Center, not realizing, that I, of course, work there in the future. But I think a lot of people have that kind of shared experience of the everyday walking around those beautiful gardens and then those big life moments too, I think. And it's such a special place that you can kind of bridge both of those, day-to-day and big moments.
The main event is called Drums of Liberty, and it's going to be Saturday and Sunday, June 14th and 15th, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And when you say that, in addition to the reenactments, the live demonstrations, the hands-on activities, and the family-friendly events, that speaks to me about trying to draw a whole new generation of people to the center.
Absolutely. I think that we have, in the recent years, we have really increased our family programming.
Right.
And this is just another example of that. And as you said, there are people how they didn't know about us. It's shocking sometimes because we are this big white building on Connecticut Avenue that people drive by and they don't know what it is. But when we do a variety of events, we're able to reach a different audience. And as the community becomes, there's a transient part of our community with military people moving in and out.
That's
and
right.
making sure that we're able to reach these new residents.
That's right. That's right. I've been privileged to live in the Weymouth area for 25 years now, and there isn't a morning that I don't wake up. And this is true. It sounds corny, but it's a privilege to wake up here. And we forget. All you have to do is go back to Northern Virginia or the metropolitan New York area to realize how beautiful what we have is here and how laid back it is. I want to come back in the third set. I do want to talk to you guys about some of the other events that you have coming up this year. I also want to go back and talk about, you mentioned it earlier, about the volunteers, because without the volunteers, none of this would be next to impossible to do. And the volunteers that you have and you attract are special people. We're talking all about the Weymouth Center for the Arts and Humanities and the upcoming Drums of Liberty event Saturday and Sunday, June the 14th and 15th. It should be a terrific event. This is All Things Moore County. We'll be right back. Welcome back to our third set, talking all about the Weymouth Center for the Arts and Humanities and the upcoming Drums of Liberty event on Saturday and Sunday, June the 14th and 15th, from 10 to 4. And not to fail to mention the Friday event on June the 13th in the evening, which would be the NC Wyeth Letters and Art exhibit. And that's just the tip of the iceberg in terms of the activities that the Weymouth Center has planned. Even though this two-day event on the 13th and the 14th and 15th is free, people are welcome to make donations. Part of it, I guess, has been underwritten by one of your partners, which we talked about. But if there's value in this for the families, that they will gladly accept donations. But it's open to the public, and there is no charge to come in, which is a wonderful, wonderful thing.
Yeah, I think we are grateful for any donation, $1 to
Right.
thousands of dollars if you'd like to sponsor. But making an event like this accessible to everyone in the county and is the most important thing for us. And the America 250 NC grant gives us the ability to make this event free to everyone.
And there are so many events that you have coming up into the fall and the holiday season. I mean, it starts at Halloween, it goes through Thanksgiving and Christmas, but these events all cost money. You did mention in the earlier set about the wonderful volunteers you have, but I mean, there are many. It's not just 15 or 20 people.
We probably have dozens, maybe over 100.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely, dozens of active volunteers, I think, just, and way more that, show up when they can.
Yeah, we have a couple big groups of volunteers, the Women of Weymouth and the Weymouth Dirt Gardeners. And so those two groups really provide a big support for events and to keep the gardens nice. We also have committee members and board members who all volunteer their time. And we have a lot of high schoolers that come and help and support us as well.
That's great.
And our Weymouth Equestrians volunteers, I can't forget them. We couldn't have horses all taken care of without people and a big equestrian program without volunteers for that.
Yeah, it's definitely different buckets of people. If there's something you like doing, I'm sure we could find a place for you at Weymouth.
For those who have not been to the Weymouth Center, I encourage you, if you're driving by and you look out on a weekday or a weekend and the parking lot is empty, pull in, park your car, take a walk around the grounds behind the main home to the right, and look at the horse stables on the left. You will spend 2 hours there, and you will be walking into a magical view that you did not know existed. And it will hopefully open up your eyes to what the Weymouth Center has to offer.
It's also cool because there's always something that's changing or something that's being added. And for example, we're working on the Poets Garden. That's a new addition. The Poets Garden? That has existed, but we are adding, a new wind chime, area and some poured concrete over there. So it's going to look very different. There had been a gazebo that was in some disrepair. So always something, new. And there's a little water feature over there, too, that maybe a lot of people don't know about. So there's some cool little hidden gardens on the grounds, too.
After the event comes and goes, tell me what's going on after the 14th of June.
We are so lucky to have Julie Borshak. She's our program director, and she's organizing a kids camp. So
Great.
It'll be June 23rd through the 27th from, I think it's 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And that's 3rd through, I believe, 7th graders. So that'll be a really cool How to Be an Explorer of the World day camp. They did a similar one last summer as well that I think kids just really had a great time.
Right.
Kind of touched all different parts of what Weymouth offers. So there was a music portion. There was, a lot of art and different crafts and working with different elementary educators and middle school educators that came in to help host that camp. And then I know you talked last week to Pam Pardis and the Vision for More that we'll have on June 28th.
Right.
And then we're excited to have, again, a peachgrass festival. So we did that last year.
Tell me about peachgrass.
Yeah, we did it last year in collaboration with the Convention Visitors Bureau, and it was a Saturday evening concert, which we don't get to do very often because we do host a lot of weddings, yes, on Saturdays. So having a Saturday summertime evening concert is so much fun. We try to keep the ticket price really inexpensive, so I think it's $10 ticket, and yeah, we're so excited to be hosting that again this year.
That is great. And so the summer will come and go, and then you move into a whole different autumn and holiday season where people can actually go to your website to look at a lot of the upcoming events, can they not?
Yeah, we just launched a new ticketing platform, so it is looking a little different these days. We're very excited about it, and we really are starting to host all of the different events that we have for really through the 2026 spring, because that's how we organize our calendar.
Right. And I hope everybody who is listening will go on to the site and see all that they have to offer and see some of the beautiful photographs that are posted. So the event that's happening on June 14th and 15th, the Drums of Liberty, you have lots of partners in the community and outside the community that help to make some of these events possible.
Yeah, we've worked closely with Sandhills Community College,
right,
University of North Carolina, Pembroke, and the Museum of the Southeast American Indian. We are working also with the Moore County Historical Association and the Daughters of the American Revolution, both local chapters, Alfred Moore chapter and the Temperance Smith Alston chapter, as well as the Sons of the American Revolution, their Sandhills chapter. So all these groups have really come together to support this event, and we're so grateful for their participation.
Yeah. You also have a very proactive board of directors as well, with some, as I see it, some transformational people in the community. I know Andrew Wyeth is very much enrolled. And what a wonderful guy he is, and what a great spokesperson for the center.
Yeah, Glenda Kirby is our president. Andrew Lyons is our vice president.
Okay.
And then we also have Diana Staley, who was a big supporter of us hopefully getting when we got the Vision for More.
Right.
And they all are they're a very active group of people who support all of these different. We've talked about so many different aspects of Weymouth Center, and they all come together to support these different aspects and make it all work together in such a nice way.
And Katie has been a lightning rod over the years for the Weymouth Center, and we've loved having her on, and she brings so much talent and passion to the cause as well.
Absolutely. We're so grateful for Katie and the change that she has made at Weymouth Center.
Right. The Weymouth Center is a gift to Southern Pines. It's a gift to Moore County. It is open to the public. We hope some of these events, in particular the event coming up on the 14th and 15th of June, may be the first time that some people would come with their families and discover all that the Weymouth Center has to offer. For all ages, all generations, people from all walks of life. It's It's a public facility, and it's not intimidating. It's beautiful, and we want to strike that down because I think that some people still have that in their minds, and we want to shake them and say, just take a look, and you'll see what you see. I wish you guys the best of luck with this particular event. Saturday and Sunday, June 14th and 15th from 10 to 4. There'll be reenactments, family-friendly events, live demonstrations, hands-on activities, the North Carolina or the NC Wyeth exhibit, and there'll be music as well. You didn't mention food trucks, but I have a feeling they won't be too far away.
We'll have food available.
I had a feeling.
And lemonade. It's probably going to be hot. It's June.
That's right. It probably will. The Weymouth Center is located at 555 East Connecticut Avenue in Southern Pines. Their website is weymouthcenter.org. I invite you to go on and look at it and familiarize yourself with some of the activities. And I wish you guys a great summer, and maybe we'll see you back here in the fall season.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Danie, and thank you, Kira. I really enjoyed it. This is All Things Moore County. Have a great week.